Um, Anybody remember what we did last week?
We were almost doing a somersault.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
I remember that one.
Okay. Well, we're not going to do that today. Well, we'll see where we get today, but I think we could all use a little bit of neck. Yes, for your necks.
Oh, always.
For your neck. So let's start in standing. Let's start in standing. And just take a few moments for yourself. Lovely. Take a few moments for yourself to just sense yourself in your upright and vertical position. And then begin to look about yourself to the right and to the left. And you can notice, is there one direction that's easier for you to take in your surroundings or more comfortable? And do you grow taller or smaller as you turn and look to the right and to the left? And which leg do you transfer your weight onto as you turn right or left? Or maybe you stay right in the middle. And then what would it be like if you stood with your feet right close together, very close together, and turned to the right and turned to look to the left? And with that narrower stance, does that affect your ability to take in your surroundings? Does it change something about the way you engage with yourself? And then if you were to take a step forward as though you were just going to just launch into a walk, but arrest yourself as the back heel comes up, and from this unstable and uneven position, look to the right and look to the left, turn to the right and turn to the left. And the back foot is there to help you keep your balance, but the heel is off the floor. And then take a step forward with the other foot and let the back heel come away from the floor, but the ball of the foot can help you keep your balance. And look to the right and look to the left. How are these different stances? How do they affect your ability to take in your surroundings? And then just stand for a moment and consider yourself. And then please come and lie on your backs. And take a moment to just scan through yourself and feel the support of the floor coming into you and through your back, and the support that that gives you for breathing. Roll your head to the right, to the left, to check in with the availability of your neck lying on your back. Do other parts of yourself participate in the turning of the head, or is it just the head and the neck? And then if you're wearing glasses, you'll probably want to remove them because we're going to now rest on our bellies. So if you need a face cloth, you can get a face cloth. If it is uncomfortable to be on your belly, take a little support, like a cushion, a pillow, a rolled up towel underneath your chest to give yourself a little bit of room back there in the neck. And have your hands palms down overhead on the floor with your head, and notice which direction your face is turned. So you're lying on your belly. I'm going to give people a moment to get the needed supports. Looks like some people are going to need some supports. But if you're already resting on your belly, just take a moment to observe your breathing. With the belly pressing into the floor. And then with your hands, here it comes, Dorothy. Yes, good. Yeah, use that pillow. So whichever direction your face is turned, how easy would it be for you to come up to sitting from there? And sitting, side sitting. So how would you do that? So if your face is turned to the right, you'd come up so that you would be side sitting on the left hip. And then you could go back down. Or if your face is turned to the right, you would come up to side sit on the other hip, or left, or right. You know what I mean. If the right cheek is down, you would be coming up to sit on the right hip. Which side is more available for that action? Which side feels smoother, feels safer, more comfortable for the neck, etc. Now, there's many different strategies. I see many different lessons starting to emerge as you explore coming up. And then the next time you're down, stay down and have your face turned the most comfortable direction. With your arms overhead, palms down, sort of forming a ring, a frame around your head. And begin to slide your head a little bit forward and a little bit back. And in such a way that the top of the head, if there was a laser light coming out the top of your skull, as you move your face forward and backwards, the head is making an arc. So it's not that the nose moves in a straight line towards the elbow, but that the nose goes a little bit down towards the shoulder. And then the nose comes a little bit up as the head is sweeping, the side of the face is sweeping along the floor. And it doesn't have to be a large movement. A little forward and a little back, a little forward. And notice how something has to press into the floor in order for the head to become light enough to slide. So what parts of you press? How do you engage with the floor through the front? Does the pubic bone lift or press? Do the heels turn? Just explore that. And then pause. And then turn your nose a little bit more down towards the floor, and then a little bit up towards the ceiling. So you're lying on your belly, your face is turned to the side, and you're just turning your nose a little towards the floor, a little towards the ceiling. And then what if you were to think that you could direct this movement from the back of your head? From the back of your head, turning the head from a point in the back of the head. Pause. And bend up one knee so that the sole of the foot is towards the ceiling. Whichever one you can change if you need to, but again, play with this idea of turning the nose a little down towards the floor and a little up towards the ceiling so the face is turning. And find out if that lever of your leg might be useful at all to help the head turn. You can experiment with which leg that might be, and it might not make any difference at all, just a line of inquiry. And then with the legs resting down, think of pressing the face into the floor so that you roll longitudinally along the side of the face. So perhaps up towards the orbital bone or the side of the temple, and then down along the cheek towards the chin. And the movement doesn't have to be that large. It could just be a tiny, tiny movement around perhaps your cheekbone, or maybe you're only resting on your eye bone. Let's make it very doable, but feel this longitudinal. And what you need to do with your spine, with your chest, with yourself to make this strange movement and pressing your face in a line along the floor. And then come and rest on your back. And come again onto your stomach. And have your face turned the same direction that it just was, with your arms overhead, resting on the floor, palms down. And now we're going to add just one thing. Notice how you've placed your hands. You might have one hand resting on top of the other hand. You might have the hands separated. But can you bring the hands close enough together so that the tips of your middle fingers and the tips of your index fingers could touch? And then just increase that pressure ever so slightly and listen to what happens through the rest of yourself. And do that several times. So it's like we're sending a current through the middle fingers, through the index fingers, through the bones of the forearms. You might feel this all the way into the shoulders and chest. And then could you play with this as you slide your head forward and back so that the top of the head describes an arc through space. So something has to press into the floor so that the head can be light enough to glide over the floor. So does it make any difference to have the pressure of the fingertips joining the arms, making connection as you slide your head forward and back? Or if you were to turn your nose as though to say no, very slowly, very slightly, turn your nose towards the floor, turn your nose towards the ceiling. Play with that pressure through your fingers. And what about rolling the head, the face longitudinally along the floor towards the temple and down towards the jawline? And then slowly, slowly turn your head to face the other direction. And do you employ the pressure through the fingertips at all? Does your pelvis turn? Do your heels turn? And notice where you're resting on the other side of the face. What part of the face do you rest on? And if you're finding this very uncomfortable, then please take the back arm down behind you. And just have the front arm in front of you bent over the head. And from here, begin to explore moving the face forward and backwards towards the arm in front of you and away from it. The top of the head making an arc through space. And pause. And just before we turn our noses, could you roll your pelvis? Could you roll your pelvis a little right, a little left? Which direction did you roll it first? Did you roll towards the back of the head or towards the face? And which direction? We probably moved it the direction that was easiest to roll it. Did it make any effect, did it have any effect on your neck? And then perhaps with the help of your pelvis, could you take your nose and turn it a little more towards the floor and then a little more towards the ceiling? And you could look down with your eyes towards the carpet, towards your mat, and up with your eyes towards the ceiling. And then what if you could direct this movement, not from the nose, but from the back of the head? The back of the head is what's turning towards and away from the floor. You've shifted your intention several inches back behind you. And then resting as you need to, we're going to play with different points of intention. If you had a dot on the place where your face is resting and a dot exactly opposite that on the other side of your face, if you were to turn your head, roll the nose a little towards, a little away from the floor, could you see those dots moving relative to one another? And then to that, could you add the nose and the back of the head so that perhaps you could experience your head turning in a three-dimensional way? The front, the back, the sides. And let's take a rest on the back. Come onto your stomach again. And have your hands overhead on the floor, palms down. And you can play with this idea of pressing the fingers together, the fingertips together or not. You can play with that. It's just another tool in our toolbox. And could you find the line that runs longitudinally along that side of your face and begin to roll the face lightly, lightly, a little more above, a little more below. And what do you need to do with your spine, your chest? Bend up one or both of your knees so that the soles of the feet look at the ceiling. And you can play again with turning the nose a little towards, a little away from the floor. And which leg, or how might you move the legs to assist and make it a little easier? And if it's stressful for the hamstrings to be bent up, then you don't, just roll the pelvis. But maybe the lever of the leg you might find it useful. Rolling over the fronts of the thighs, turning the pelvis. And then if you were to turn the head the other direction, decide to slowly turn your face to rest on the other cheek, which way might your leg or legs go? As you make that decision to turn the head to face the other direction, what might you do with your legs? And if your legs are long, what might you do with your pelvis or your heels? Legs don't have to be bent. The idea is that now we're involving more of the spine to help the head turn and lift and turn from one side to the other. And then please come rest on your back unless you are weighted down by an enormous cat. What are you gonna do? They're in control. And if you are fortunate enough to have a critter on some part of your body, it's just a nice way to tune in. It's like they're your little awareness assistant. Sometimes they know just where to go. Notice the sensations. And now can you stand up both your feet? Bend your knees, stand up both your feet, a comfortable distance apart, and lift the pelvis. And begin to lengthen your knees away from you so that you pull your neck long. You sort of direct yourself towards your feet and away so that your head will roll. This is similar to when we're rocking the pelvis and the head is nodding yes, except we're going to lift the pelvis and use the legs to pull the neck out so that the chin goes down and the knees go over the feet a few times. Let's go back and forth along the spine, up towards the head and then down towards the feet, and let the neck be lengthened by that movement. And then rest. And come again onto your belly and turn your face the most comfortable direction. And stand both your hands in the push. No, I'm sorry. Have both your hands resting on the floor overhead. And slide your face forward and back so that the top of the head describes an arc. And do your feet or legs get lighter at any point? Slide the head forward and back as you make the head lighter. And then rest the head down and keeping the arms in this frame, move the frame to the right and to the left. So the hands and elbows will slide around the head. Sort of like steering with your elbows. And does your pelvis get involved? If you bent up one of your legs, would the lever of the leg wave to the right or to the left? You slide the elbows to the right and to the left. And then move the head with the elbows. Move the head with the elbows together as a unit. And you can experiment with the legs long, or both legs bent, or one leg bent. But notice as you lift the head, if the legs are long, they'll get light. In order to move the head, the legs will have to be light. So what part of you is now engaging with the floor? Like a fish out of water. Now, some of you may already be experimenting with this already, could you move your arms one direction and your face the other direction? So your head is sliding forward and back, but your arms are going in opposition. But the side of the face stays on the floor. The same side of the face stays on the floor. thoracic spine. Let's take a rest on the back. Come again, excuse me, come again onto your stomach with your hands on the floor overhead, palms down. And slide your face forward and back within the frame of the arms. And it can be very, very small movement. Face stays facing the same direction. And then leave the head in a comfortable place, presumably in the middle, neutral, and slide the arms around the head, the shoulder girdle. And is it just the arms moving, or do you find more and more of yourself becoming involved? Turning around the head. And then let the head join the party, sliding to the right, sliding to the left, being carried in the carriage of the arms. And then what if you were to take the head opposite? The arms go one way, the head goes the other. But the hands stay more or less together overhead in a frame. Yeah, there you go. Move the frame. And come again to rest on your back. Come onto your belly again. And have both your hands standing in a push-up position. Your face turned to one direction or the other. And begin to draw your face in the direction of that elbow, of that bridge that's in front or on that side that you're looking towards. So as though you wanted to just peek, take a peek with your face, with your eyes in the window of your elbow and forearm. Just take a little peek and notice the pelvis, the legs. There might be a tendency for the right, or the leg that is on the side your face is facing. There might be a tendency for the knee to want to bend a bit out to the side. So you could allow that to happen. If it's not happening, don't force it to happen. You could try bending that leg up so that the lower leg is vertical and using it like a lever. Maybe that sort of clarifies something about you to yourself. The pelvis, the ribs. Pause and place your arms down. And slowly turn your face to the other direction and bring your hands into a push-up position. And begin to catch a glimpse of something, perhaps. If you stand the hands in a push-up position with enough space there, you could bring your face in the direction of the gap. And that knee might begin to draw towards the gap of the elbow. Notice how, if it doesn't make a difference, how close or how far your hands are from your body. Maybe you can even catch a glimpse of your knee coming towards the nose. Think of taking the nose towards the knee and the knee towards the nose. But there's that issue of the arm behind, isn't it? There's like a constraint. So listen to what the shoulders are doing. One shoulder comes closer to the floor and the other shoulder comes away. Yes, and you might not have been doing that before, but as soon as you become aware that one shoulder can go towards the floor and the other come away, life might become a lot brighter. And then if you were to turn your face the other direction, when would you turn it and begin drawing the other knee towards the face? So you could alternate, sort of like a swimming movement almost. It's a crawling movement. He said, we're not going anywhere because the hands are planted on the floor. Yeah, keep experimenting. Keep experimenting. And then let's come rest on the back. Come again onto your stomach. And have your hands in the push-up position, standing with the hands. And a couple of lessons ago, we played with an idea of the developing baby, and that when a baby, an infant, presses its hand into the floor, it doesn't push its hand into the floor, it takes the floor into his hand and opens the palm into the floor. So what if you were just to play with that idea of the quality of opening the hand into the floor and taking the floor into the hand. Borrow from the developing baby. And then play with this turning or sliding of the head. Just play a little bit, but just change this one idea, the quality with which your hands contact the floor and how you take the floor into your hand. It looks like it's changing something here, yes. So it's more delicate, it's more global. There's less of an emphasis on the neck, on the pelvis, on the hips, on the things that you might be perceiving as obstacles. Just opening the hand into the floor, take the floor into the palm, and turn the head from one direction to the other. And perhaps bend up the knee a bit. And then with that same quality of softness, that same attentiveness that you have with your palms, can you simply roll onto your back and take a rest? And come again onto your belly with your hands standing in the push-up position and your face turned one direction or the other. And now draw whichever direction your face is facing a couple of times. Just draw that knee towards that gap of that elbow and take the face down towards it. And just feel that. And perhaps you're thinking of the baby hands, the baby hands. And then, well, it changes the quality, doesn't it? And now, could you think about bringing the opposite knee towards that same elbow? Aha. Which means something radically different is going to happen. And the head does not have to stay plastered to the ground. So you're bringing the knee underneath you. And where do you go? Where does the head, where does the spine, where does your tail, where does the weight go? If you're drawing the opposite knee underneath the body towards that elbow. And what do you experience as the obstacle? Do you feel, oh, I'm so dense. The body's so dense, it's so heavy, it's so difficult. These things might be going through your mind. So let's do an experiment. Come onto your backs. And we're going to borrow from the mysticism of India. So as you're breathing, just observe your breathing. You're breathing in and you're breathing out. And as you're breathing in, can you take this thought? I am not this body. And as you breathe out, I am not even this mind. You breathe in, I am not this body. Breathe out, I am not even this mind. I am not this body. I am not even this mind. I am not this body. I am not even this mind. I am not this body. I am not even this mind. I am not this body. I am not even this mind. And please come again onto your stomach with both arms in the push-up position. And turn your face the other direction. And begin to draw the same knee that the face is facing towards through the gap, not through the gap, but in the direction of the gap there, the elbow. And pattern your breathing so that you breathe in, I am not this body. And you breathe out, I am not even this mind. And you time the movement with the breath. I am not this body. I am not even this mind. And then with the opposite leg underneath the body towards the elbow, I am not this body. I am not even this mind. I am not this body. I am not even this mind. I am not this body. I am not even this mind. I am not this body. I am not even this mind. Could you go alternating from one side to the other and turning the head at the appropriate moment? But the focus is no longer on the body. It's I am not this body. I am not even this mind. And you're doing the movement, but there's a sense of separation between you and the difficulty. There's a separation between you and the body, between you and the mind. And you do the movement because you're not trying to do the movement. Lovely. Let's take a rest on the back. Come again onto the belly. Have your face turn the most comfortable direction. And now could you think of sliding the knee that's behind you out to the side? The knee that's behind you. Very different for the spine. Doesn't have to move much, maybe just the pelvis turns and the knee bends a little bit. What's different about this in the spine? What parts of you press into the floor? If you open your baby hand into the floor and let the floor come into the hand, does that change anything? If you time your breathing and say to yourself, I am not this body, I am not even this mind, I am not this body, I am not even this mind, I am not this body, I am not even this mind. And then turn the face slowly the other direction and play with the other side. The baby hands, the breathing, a sense of gliding. And now could you bring the other knee underneath the body? And could you come to sit like that? And then go back down and reverse it and come up on the other side. And listen to how the spine has to twist and untwist and then twist again, going back down. What if you turned your face the other way? Yes, quite complex, very lovely. And if you start to feel that the body becomes an obstacle and it feels heavy and it feels impossible, can you separate from that? Let's take a rest on the back. And roll yourself up to standing. And how is it now to turn and take in your environment, to turn and take in your surroundings? Don't worry about your cameras. Don't worry about if I can see you or not. It's about your experience.